You're tuned into tomorrow. Right here on the Advanced Media Network.
This Into Tomorrow podcast is hosted by our partner Blueberry Podcasting. We couldn't be happier with their service. You can get 30 days of podcast hosting free by simply visiting their website at blueberry.com. That's like a blueberry without the E's, so it's BLUBRRY.com.
Welcome into Tomorrow with Dave Graveline, the interactive radio network programmed with the latest in high-tech products and services and the experts who bring them to you. This is Into Tomorrow. Here's Dave Graveline.
Our 26th year bringing you the latest in consumer tech, products and services, all kind of cool things available today and into tomorrow. I'm Dave Graveline.
I'm Chris Graveline.
And we're coming to you from the Dexcom G6 studios. Always know where your glucose is headed and how fast. Be sure to visit Dexcom.com. That's DEXCOM.com. And as we like to remind you on the show every single week, a couple of very important things. One, always back up your important data, especially if you've got unbelievably great photos and videos of family, the kids, the grandkids, whatever. Be sure and back them up along with your important paperwork, documents, what have you. And check your spam filters. Make sure that none of your family or friends, that includes us, I hope, family and friends, anything from @graveline.com, make sure none of that is in your spam filter. And if it is, be sure and mark things as not spam. You wonder why you haven't heard from that aunt in a couple of years. Well, there she is in your spam filter. Oops. Better get back to her. You know, that kind of thing.
Spam filters are like lint filters. They can be dangerous if they get too full.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting analogy. Yeah. So we've got some tech news and commentary. Joe in Michigan standing by. Oh, he used the Ask Dave button I see here. I'm cheating, looking ahead. And we love it when folks do that because there are very easy and fun ways to participate on the program. And Joe, obviously, listen to us when you use the Ask Dave button on anything with a browser and a microphone. You click on that little Ask Dave microphone that's on the right or the lower right when you get to intotomorrow.com. And we ask that you give us your first name, where you're joining us from, and how you hear the show. He did that, I'm seeing.
Yes.
Oh, love you, Joe. Very good.
So before we get to some of the top news, including some stuff from Apple,
they had a little something the other day.
A little shindig.
A little soiree of some sort.
Yeah. We want to say congrats to a recent Into Tomorrow guest, Haley Arsenault, who is among those in space right now as part of the first all-civilian space flight.
Yes. Very cool. She was a recent guest, as you mentioned, on the show. Got a chance to chat with her. The proceeds that they expect to raise from this 3-day flight. And they're going, by the way, much farther than the space tourist Jeff Bezos and even the Virgin guy.
Richard Branson.
Yeah. They're going much further than that. They're going 100 miles beyond the International Space Station even.
Yeah. So I hope they wave to the astronauts as they fly by.
Yeah.
Well, they may not actually fly by, but, you know.
Well, that's flying, isn't it, in space?
Well, they may not pass the station.
Probably not. Well, it's 100 miles away. You can't wave. Well, you can. Hey, I'm waving at you. Good. We're waving back. Okay, see you. But, yeah, we hope they have a very productive time. And by the time you hear this, they may have already come back to Earth.
Yeah.
So kudos to them. And what was her name again?
Haley Arsenault.
Absolutely correct. Haley was a fun guest. If you missed that interview, be sure to come to intotomorrow.com and check it out. She's a sweetheart and was talking about really cool things to help benefit St. Jude's Children's Hospital.
Yeah, she was a pediatric cancer survivor, was treated at St. Jude's, and then came back to work there now as a physician's assistant.
Yeah. Good luck for her.
Yeah. And, of course, we mentioned big news out of Apple. So they had their little event this week, which, of course, started with CEO Tim Cook gushing over the state of California and how proud they are to call California home.
Oh, please.
He then talked about all the Emmy nominations that they've received from their original programming on Apple TV+.
Again, oh, please.
Yeah.
I think I've watched one show on there that you kind of turned me on to and managed to steal a friend's Apple ID and be able to watch the show. But they have something else that I did like that was
Morning Show.
Oh, the Morning Show Season 2 coming back.
Season 2 just started.
Oh, I'm going to have to go back again No, I don't give them any money. And watch season 2.
I don't give them any money
Stuff.
either, because I got it for free for a year when I upgraded my phone last time. And then when I found out that I could have up to 5 people in my family, I added you as family. So we're even doing it legit.
Oh.
But you're still not having to pay for it. Neither am I. So
very good.
But
Apple had to give it away because nobody was buying it.
Well, and I've already told you that I'm not going to pay for it when my free year is up. So watch whatever you want or whatever you can now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, you'll pay for it if you like it. What about season 3 if there is one of Morning Show?
If it's the kind of thing I can pay for a month, I'll wait till the entire season is available. I'll pay for it for that 1 month, watch it, and then cancel it.
Okay. Make sure you tell me then so I can do the same thing. But, yeah, they did announce a few things like the iPhone 13. I would have thought, since they like to skip numbers occasionally, they would have skipped that as an unlucky number.
Yeah. Oh, well, this is Apple.
Yeah, true. But a ceramic shielded front glass. I thought most ceramics you can't see through.
But this is Apple ceramics you can.
Yeah. And apparently the phone has a new look as a result, yeah?
Yeah, and it's available in 5 new colors, including pink, blue, starlight, and their normal product red, which I think helps fund age research or something.
What the heck color is starlight?
I don't know.
Okay, got it.
It's going to be available in 2 models, the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 13 mini.
What about a Pro or something? Or?
They also announced a Pro, which we get 2 more because that's a lot more money. That's like Pro money.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Jeez.
But it now has the A15 Bionic chip, which has a 6-core CPU. They say that it's 50% faster than competition and has 30% faster graphics than the competition. Of course, those were their words, so it remains to be seen.
Their measurements. 15.8 trillion operations per second. Who counted those?
Not me.
And Apple Custom OLED, which is organic light-emitting diode, so it's some sort of a custom Apple thing.
Yeah, but one of the cool things I like about it being a video guy is this: they updated their cameras and it now has a cinematic mode, which you can now rack focus automatically when you're shooting a video.
Now tell people, since you're a videographer, what rack focus means.
You're shooting. You have 2 people, one kind of like up close, another person in the background. Obviously, one of them is going to be out of focus. In rack focus, you move the focus from one to the other. You didn't used to be able to do that with the iPhones. Now the phone will do it automatically using their apparently machine learning or something. And
what is it? Does it do it based on if someone's speaking?
I don't know how it does.
So if you're the closer one speaking,
based on framing or something, it determines which is really the subject, and it will automatically rack focus to.
Wow!
And you can also obviously tap the screen to change focus yourself while you're shooting.
Oh, okay. So there are a few things that we're going to be talking about on the show today that Apple mentioned, but talking about the iPhone 13, 2.5 hours longer battery life than the iPhone 12. So that might prove interesting for a lot of folks.
So, and the iPhone 13 starts at $799. The Mini starts at $699, and they've got 128, 256, and 512 gigabyte versions.
Jeez.
So goodbye with the 64. They no longer have the 64 gig version phones.
Well, good for them. Yeah. Joe in Berkeley, Michigan listens to the free Into Tomorrow podcast and participates by using the Ask Dave button. Love you for that at intotomorrow.com. Hey, Joe.
I have an iPhone Pro, and I want to know about the new iPhones they got out there today. I have a problem with getting some reception locally. They're saying the new one, you can get it in the desert anywhere in the world. Is that true? If you could help me out, I'd appreciate it. I'm listening online since my station no longer carries you guys from Canada, which is a real problem. But I do get you a podcast, and they're great. Love you guys.
Well, thank you. We love you too, Joe. And be sure and call CKLW across the water there from Detroit and tell them you miss Into Tomorrow. Why you take them off? And I know why, because they're making people pay for their weekends. But anyway, in spite of the rumors, Apple didn't mention anything about satellite support in their 2021 event. Even if that does eventually come out, keep in mind that it's not likely to be full communication, but the ability to send a basic text via satellite, or maybe to give someone a status update, or to ask for help while you're in the desert. There are devices like the Garmin InReach that have had that feature for years without full satellite voice or data service.
Yeah, what was really unveiled at Apple's event, which we'll talk about more as the show goes on, is evolutionary upgrades to their 2020 models. The new version of the iPhone still features 3 cameras, but they're slightly improved, and the phone now features macro capabilities at a distance of 2 centimeters.
Well, that's really close.
Yeah, I did mention that the phone can change the focus of videos it shoots, and it can do that after the video has been recorded. It has a smaller notch and a longer battery life by about 90 minutes, a new better display, and the new A15 chip with a 5-core GPU. Overall, the upgrade is probably not really worth the money if you're currently on the iPhone 12 Pro.
Yeah. So hopefully, Joe, that helps you out a little bit. Hang in there, and as more info becomes available, we'll certainly keep you informed. Stay tuned. intotomorrow.com.
Attention! Do you owe back taxes, fines, and penalties to the IRS? The IRS now offers new relief options for taxpayers affected by COVID-19, but you can't go it alone. Call Tax Solutions now. Our team of former IRS agents and tax professionals can get you the best deal. We know the COVID-19 rules. Call us and never speak to the IRS again.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
The virus has caused the IRS to take extensive action to help taxpayers. So if you owe $10,000 or more, this is the best time in years to settle your tax debt.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
Remember, the IRS will not give up until you pay. Call 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499.
Into Tomorrow continues. I'm Dave Graveline, our 26th year on the air, bringing you the latest in consumer tech. That includes, of course, products and services, gadgets and gizmos, apps, software, hardware, all sorts of neat things available today and into tomorrow. And we're delighted that you've tuned into the program. Even more delighted when you call in and participate. And there's so many easy ways to do that. The latest, easiest way is to visit us at intotomorrow.com. Click on the Ask Dave button, and that's very easy to do. So again, visit us at intotomorrow.com, the Ask Dave button. Hey, while you're there, sign up for our free once-a-week tech newsletter as well. We'd be delighted if you do that. Our next guest founded a company with the mission of protecting children online, and they recently created a very interesting app for monitoring cyberbullying of children. So attention all parents and grandparents and everyone interested in helping to protect children. The founder of Keepers Child Safety, Hanan Lipskin. Hanan, welcome into Tomorrow. Thanks for coming on. How are you?
First of all, thank you for inviting me. A very pleasure to be here.
Well, we're delighted to have you.
And
you're joining us from Tel Aviv, Israel, as I understand. So we do appreciate that. Apparently, that's where Keepers Child Safety is headquartered, I'm guessing.
First of all, that is correct. Actually, we will tell you a little bit more about our headquarters, which is a little bit more interesting story. We are in Tel Aviv, we are in Vienna, we are also in the West Bank, and I will connect all of those dots together to a very interesting story about our technology and our story as a company.
Very fine. By all means, let's hear it then. I always like to know a little about the company, and then we'll get into the product or the app or the service after we know a little bit about your company.
Maybe I will start a little bit about why I've created this company, which is an interesting story. As a teenager, I grew up in Jerusalem. And once I grew up as a teenager in Jerusalem, it was a tough time. So I was a victim of 2 suicide attack bombs when I was 14 years old. Oh. And it was some challenging days, and I had to switch schools in the middle of the year because I couldn't communicate through a bus anymore. And it was similar to the days of COVID right now because you were stuck at home during most of the time. And I started to develop my skill set as a hacker. Basically, we used to hack to website, to university in the States, from then to university in France, for example, and then we took out some terrorist website. So it did got me into a lot of trouble, but in the end, it got me to a position in the Israeli army, which I was serving in the Israeli army in the defensive monitoring and attacking unit, the cybersecurity space, which following I used to work for the global company Cisco. Now, once I was at the age of 27, I started to reflect all about those days when I was suffering from bullying. And I decided that I have 2 options in my life. Option number 1 is I can make it as a memorial to everything which is wrong in my life. Option number 2 is to make it as a pivot place to create growth and to create something which is more positive to the world. So I said to myself, hey, I know how to detect messages on social media because that's what I've done during my time in the army. And if I can add an algorithm that can understand if the information is toxic, racism, bullying, what have you, then I can report it to the parent. And this is how I started my journey at Keepers. So at the beginning, I created a very, very simple application, which we were able to detect messages. At the beginning, it was only on WhatsApp. And I've installed it on my nephew device. I told I have two nephews, and I installed it on their device, and I told them exactly what Keepers is doing. And after 2 hours plus minus, I received that my nephew, she was 12 years old, she was starting sex texting. And I was like, she's 12 years old. What's happened? So at one point I was very happy, but very concerned on the same stage. She's my nephew. How come does it happen? And 2 minutes later, her twin sister taught all of the kids at class how they can puke after they can eat so they can stay slim as any other famous Hollywood actors. So, this was my journey at Cisco. It was on Saturday afternoon. The next day in Israel, we're working on Sundays. On Sunday, I quitted my job and started Keepers, and this is how the company started. This is the why I'm doing it.
Well, that is fascinating. And the fact that you actually started out as a hacker to take down terrorist organization websites is certainly fascinating. And as you mentioned, then joining the Israeli army that allowed you to get involved more in cybersecurity. So that's very cool. And I'm glad that it was the inspiration, if you will, from family members that got you to start Keepers. So now let's talk about Keepers and what does that do in terms of helping to protect kids.
Yes, so before we talk about Keepers, which I would like to add something even more interesting about the why. A final note. Our office was created in Jerusalem. It was 200 meters away from where I had my suicide attack bomb incidents when I was injured. And it was very important for me to create a social impact. So I decided I can walk the talk instead of just talking about it. So we have 5 employees from the West Bank, and we have employees from Vienna, and we have employees from Israel. So we have on the same table Orthodox Jewish, Muslim, Christian. Everybody's working together to save lives. And this is really important for me because we were all created by God, and we are obligated to love everyone. So this is exactly what we are doing at Keepers. We are mandatory to love everyone. And how does it work? So basically, you install the application on the child device. Very simple. And then you install it also on the parent device. The child is the sender, while the parent is the listener. So every message a child will send or receive on WhatsApp, Facebook, or what have you, we can detect it. And then only if it's offensive, we are reporting it to the parent. If it's non-offensive, we are not reporting it. As about the privacy, it was very important for us because we designed it by privacy. So we are obligated to the GDPR laws and also different privacy laws. So the information is processed on our server and then it's deleted because we are monitoring and shifting it only to the parent. And that's it. Simple as that. Now, because we can see whatever is on the screen, then even if your child will browse to any prohibited website, which there are many other categories like this, we can report it to the parent even if they will use VPN. So that's really important, but also we kept the parents to decide which categories are okay and which are not based on the child's age, so they will have the flexibility. Now, all of those features was created because we have designed the application, designed by privacy and designed by philosophy. So we actually we have in our board member a seat for teenagers at the age of 14, at the age of 13, which they are teaching us what is right, what is wrong, what we should add. For example, PAL, which means parental listening. If I was not a child, I would never know about it.
I did not know that either, but that's important for parents and grandparents to know. PAL, it's like, oh, is that your pal? Yeah, that's my pal. No, but they're saying parents are listening, or maybe somebody's watching over my shoulder or whatever. And again, kids will do whatever they can to get away with stuff if they think it's okay in the long run. But that's kind of interesting that you picked up on even that. So if you see pal, is that something then that gets reported to the parent just to be on the alert?
So the acronyms of PAL, which will be reported to the parent, and then in brackets we will tell them exactly what does it mean. And even if we will send you a picture of emojis of an apricot, which is extremely offensive, we can report it and, those kind of features. But it was more interesting once we have started Keepers, we took a group of 25 kids, in Israel, in Europe, many other countries, and we created a parliament of children, and we asked them how they feel about it. So actually, one of the kids, which mainly most of the kids are smarter than us, they told us, at schools, if we are doing something wrong, the teacher will be there to correct us. On social media, nobody's there.
Oh,
and I was like, if this is what the child will say,
yeah,
I'm doing it right.
And that's a very good point, that perhaps oftentimes parents don't realize either. But think about that. That's a very worthy concern that you brought up, that the kids are telling you. If we do something wrong, the teacher corrects us right away, hopefully. But social media, it's a free-for-all. And we may know we're doing something wrong or saying something inappropriate or allowing someone to talk to us in an inappropriate way, but nobody's there to fix it. Well, apparently Keepers is there. That's one good example. We're chatting with Hanan Lipskin, the founder of Keepers Child Safety. You want to visit keepers.ai. And while you're at it, hit us up at intotomorrow.com to watch the video of his interview. We'll be back right after this with more. Don't go away. When you're a new podcaster, you may need a little help setting everything up. Like us at Into Tomorrow, you want a company that's there when you need them, who actually picks up the phone when you call. That's Blueberry Podcasting. Call 1-877-729-8642 or visit blueberry.com. That's BLUBRRY.com. Thanks for tuning into Tomorrow. I'm Dave Graveline. We're chatting with the founder of Keepers Child Safety, Hanan Lipskin. So you guys maintain not only, I guess, a list of words that you think could be a problem, might be offensive or otherwise, but also websites that they shouldn't be visiting either. And again, as you mentioned, to be fair, it's all based on age categories as well, and the parent can make those determinations, obviously. But those are things that you'll pick up on and then share with the parent who has the parent app on their phone, if I'm getting that correct, yes?
Absolutely, but at the beginning, we started by keywords. But, it's sometimes interesting because most of the time in the slang, we're using some bad words to emphasize something.
Yeah, true.
And I don't need to give examples. We all understand those. So it's not only about words, it's about the content. So basically, we are collecting messages in the time frame of 15 minutes. It's funny because after 15 minutes, most of the children are too tired to continue bullying each other.
Yeah. Or they're bored with the conversation, so they've moved on now or something.
Exactly. So on those 15 minutes, we are collecting the content, and then once we have many characters as possible, then we can understand is this T-shirt is F amazing or something bad happened. So this is really helping us. It's not only about keywords, it's about the content, which is really important. So this is what we're doing at Keepers. It's called NLP, which is the understanding of text, based on AI. But the funny part about it, when we started in the Hebrew language, and only 10 million people in the world speaks Hebrew, which means no one. No. So we had to create the NLP from scratch, which was good because once we moved to Italy, we learned that in the southern part of Italy, like in Naples, it's different language than in Milan. But because we have created the NLP in-house for Hebrew, it was easier for us to close the gap for different languages. So it was interesting. So now once we're going to the state, even in the United States, there's different dialects between the East Coast, the West Coast, different slang language. So this is something which is always evolving and we're always learning. And at the beginning, the benchmark, it's a machine learning. It's always in the making, in the learning, in the process.
So this is where artificial intelligence, or AI, really can come in handy to help you mold the app in this sense, to be able to detect some of these things because of different languages, different dialects, different regions. I can see where that can become a major issue, and you probably were kind of pulling your hair out saying, how are we going to handle this? But you did.
No, my hair is still here. So
yes, that's a good sign. Yeah, as we can see on the video, and we want to remind our audience, speaking of the video, be sure to come by intotomorrow.com and you'll check out the video with Hanan and I talking about keepers and showing you how it works as you've been describing. First of all, before I forget to ask you, is there a cost involved for the child version, the parents' copy, that sort of thing? How does that work?
So yes, we are charging for the product. We are charging for $4 per month per household. And the reason that we are charging for the product, because as everybody knows, when the product is for free, you are the product, and we are not using the information for any marketing purposes. We don't want to use it. We don't want to misuse our solution. So it's a $4 per month per household, regardless of the number of kids that you have. Yeah.
Okay, so again, $4 per month per household. So that's very handy too. If you're a parent with many kids, one is many in some cases, I'm sure. But if you've got multiple kids in the household, $4 a month, you got them covered. And various age groups. What is the youngest category, if you will, and then the oldest? I'm assuming would be up to 18, and at that point, it's up to them and their parents to decide if they should be monitored, I guess.
To be honest, we are targeting for my first smartphone. Because after the age of 14, in my opinion, keepers is irrelevant. But at the age of 8, once they're having the first smartphone, or maybe 10, depending on the parents, this is the time when they're developing their automatical behavior. Because if somebody will teach them, there's consequences when you're sending a message to somebody else, they need to understand it. And then once they will become adult, or once they become to the age of 16, and they grow up in this environment when they understand the reaction to the action, there will be no need for keepers anymore, because you just need to correct their automatical behavior, just as the teacher does at school. Same approach.
Sure.
So we are targeting for my first smartphone. And as I always say to parents, smartphone is like fire. You can burn down the house, or you can make food with it. It depends how you use it.
That's a good analogy, I think. It is. A smartphone is like fire. And I think the younger they are, I'm glad you mentioned like 8 and 9 years old and that sort of thing, because a lot of times they're just hearing things at school, maybe even on the playground, other students saying things, and they wonder, but then they'll repeat it, perhaps not even knowing what it means or any consequence involved. And that's something that a parent should be aware of. And hopefully, I'm sure your parents' reactions have been very positive about knowing what's going on. But what have the kids' reactions been? I'm sure you're hearing from some of the kids, too. Do they have a problem with being monitored? And if so, oh, well, too bad. You're the kid, I'm the parent. But what has been their reaction overall?
So as long as it's, as a contract between the parent and the child, I'm giving you the smartphone, and there are some obligation, which sometimes I need to check if everything is okay.
Good.
Without keepers, most of the people will sneak into their child and open their messages. But if they deleted the bad one, you will never see it. With keepers, you will. You know what? I will share with you another story about a child. It was in Victoria, in Australia. They had the biggest quarantine time in the world, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. And one kid was texting on Discord. It's equivalent to WhatsApp. And he was sending to his friend, let's create a suicide pact and let's go to the woods.
A suicide pact? Oh, my gosh.
And then in the middle of the night, at 12 o'clock, plus minus, they went to the forest. And since keepers, we have the geolocation tracking as well. The mother found out the boys. And then 2 days later on, she called us from Australia. It was a deep conversation. And actually, we saved their lives. And, actually, almost every day I get those letters to our system. 2 days ago, there was a kid here in Tel Aviv who has a special needs, and he decided that he's running away from school because somebody offended him, which is fine. But even when kids running out of school, they will never run out from school without their smartphone.
Yeah.
Now, he has a special need, and he was lost in the middle of town, and Tel Aviv is a very bustling city. It's the equivalent of New York in Israel, smaller but equivalent. Mm-hmm. The parents went to panic attack, and then they remember, hey, we have keeper. Boom, they found out where he was. And I don't want to imagine what could happen if it was almost impossible to track him.
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
So what, it's not, those stories are not too far away. My nieces, we had the story. I just opened it with my nieces, my own personal story. It's there, and as I always say, we can go like horses. We can blindfold our eyes and we can not look to the right or to the left, but it's there.
Sure.
So the parent can be better parents. We are not replacing them. We're just giving them tools.
Absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head, as we say, so to speak, when you talked about, okay, here's the deal. I'm giving you a smartphone, but there are rules. And one of the rules is I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on what you're doing on the smartphone. And a good parent will do that. And let's hope they're all good parents. I wish that was the case, but for the most part, if you get and use keepers, I think you're a good parent. Now, real quick, Hanan, because we're fast running out of time, but you mentioned WhatsApp and Facebook. Can you also do this on regular messaging, text messaging? Does Keepers work on TikTok, which a lot of the younger kids are getting on and dealing with on a regular basis as well? Are there apps that it just will not work with, so parents are at least aware to perhaps keep a better eye on the phone physically if you're unable to do those kinds of things?
So we can also detect on TikTok, on Telegram, which is highly important, even on Snapchat, because you need to remember that the message is deleted once you receive it, like James Bond kind of
true.
feature. So basically what we're doing, we have a stack on the child device because we're collecting the message every 15 minutes. So even if they will delete the message, that's fine. We already collected it. So
Gotcha. Oh, excellent. And more information can be obtained, no doubt, at Keepers, Keepers, Keepers.ai, as in artificial intelligence. And is the app available for Android and iPhone at this point?
That is correct.
Good. Terrific. And hopefully find it in the App Store even. We certainly want to get you back on again. You're doing a heck of a great job saving lives. I mean, there's not too many apps that can say they're saving lives. Keepers can say that. So Hanan Lipskin, the founder of Keepers Child Safety, thanks so much for spending a few minutes with us, and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. Keep up that good work. As I mentioned, Keepers.ai. We'll link you there, too, when you visit us at intotomorrow.com. Be sure and come by and see the video with Hanan. And we're showing you how this works as he's talking about it. Again, intotomorrow.com. Check it out and visit Keepers.ai. I'm Dave Graveline at intotomorrow.com. Much more right after this, right here on the Advanced Media Network.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. Call 855-212-6536. 855-212-6536. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. 855-212-6536. 855-212-6536. That's 855-212-6536. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
You know, the first Apple logo featured Sir Isaac Newton sitting beneath a tree with an apple about to fall on his head. And instead they went with the apple that he took a bite out of.
Yeah, well, that would have been Adam that took the bite out of it, didn't it?
Well, yeah, but I'm saying Sir Isaac Newton, he took the bite of the apple that fell and hit him on the head, and then they said, you know what, let's just use that as the logo.
Yeah, at least it didn't have a worm sticking out of it.
Yeah, that's exactly true. Anyway, welcome back Into Tomorrow. I'm Dave Graveline.
I'm Chris Graveline. This portion of Into Tomorrow is brought to you in part by HughesNet, high-speed satellite internet available where you live or work. Text RADIO to 35,000 for more info. Again, text the word RADIO to 35000.
Twith time.
Jump aboard the time machine.
You got mail.
Time to head into yesterday with This Week in Tech History.
History.
Here's Chris.
History.
This week in 1889, a company we know today was founded in Japan to produce and market handmade Hanafuda cards.
I beg your pardon?
Translating to flower cards, these were a style of Japanese playing cards used to play a variety of games. The company went on to explore other ventures, including cab services and love hotels.
Hey, settle down.
You might guess by the name what those hotels were for. And yes, they did charge by the hour. By the 1960s, the company had ventured into the toy business.
I'm too sexy for my shirt.
Those kind of toys?
No.
Oh, actual
toys.
Toys.
Okay. And by the 1970s, they shifted to video games, becoming one of the most influential in the industry and Japan's third most valuable company.
Ooh.
Nintendo is hoping we focus less on the love hotels and more on what they're most known for, their video game consoles, which they first introduced in 1977. From 1992 until 2016, Nintendo was also the majority shareholder of Major League Baseball's Seattle Mariners.
I think folks would be most interested to see how you handled the video this week of This Week in Tech History with the love hotels and stuff. So be sure and visit intotomorrow.com and check that out.
In 1977 this week, the Voyager 1 spacecraft, which was launched a couple of weeks earlier from Cape Canaveral in Florida, snapped the first photograph showing the Earth and Moon together. Voyager 1 is still in service today and is farther away from Earth than any other man-made object.
That's pretty cool. I mean, when you get right down to it.
All systems are functioning within normal parameters.
And this week in 1948, the Honda Motor Company was founded. Beginning with a staff of 12 men working in a tiny shack, they built and sold improvised motorized bicycles, using a supply of two-stroke 50cc war surplus engines. When the engines ran out, Honda began building their own copy of the engine and supplying these to customers to attach to their bicycles. This was the Honda A-Type, nicknamed the Bata Bata for the sound the engine made.
Really? Okay.
That's our look back at This Week in Tech History, brought to you by IFA in Berlin, the global innovation show since 1924 for consumer tech and home appliances, and by IFA Next, the launchpad for innovations. Get more info at ifa-berlin.com.
Ooh, and our next caller, gotta love this caller because they requested some specific things from the summer giveaway when they called, so the chances are pretty good they're going to get at least a couple of what they asked for. Check it out. Terry in Carthage, Missouri, listens to the free Into Tomorrow podcast, and we love you for it, calling in using the free Into Tomorrow app.
I just want to say hi to Cam and Chris and and Dave.
Oh, gee, thanks.
Hope you guys are doing good. Love the show. Got a little problem with my Alexas. I've got 3 of them in my house. Can't seem to get them all to work on the same commands. I'll tell it to turn the light off. One will say it can. The other 2 will say don't know the function. I go to the other room, same thing. They'll all answer, but only one of them will turn the function to the function. So I need some help how to get them all working together.
Well, first of all, what I said earlier about we're going to send you some cool prizes since you forgot about me till the end and it's my name on the logo.
He knows what's important.
Yeah, that's true. He did say hi to Cam, so Cam's going to appreciate that by all means. Well, Terry, all of your Echo speakers set up using the same account is a question. That's the first question we have for you, really. Because don't you hate when she doesn't work properly? I know I end up cursing at her sometimes, and she goes, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. Yeah, I know. Echo speakers are built to work together. In theory, when you set a second one up after having a first one running, as long as they're set up using the same account, some settings will transfer, or at least they're supposed to. Now, being connected to the same main account should ensure that Alexa skills, music settings, and smart devices all transfer to the newer ones. What won't transfer, though, is Bluetooth profiles. But that shouldn't keep them from being able to answer you if you talk to them directly.
Yeah, now, since skills don't seem to have transferred, you might want to make sure all 3 of your speakers are updated to the latest version. Then reset the ones that are not responding to your skills to factory settings, and then pair them again, making sure that you use the same account you used when you set up your original one. According to Amazon, everything should transfer if you do that. I had this exact same problem with I have 4 Alexas in my house, and the one in my bedroom stopped responding to one of the routines that I had.
That's probably 3 too many.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I ended up just taking the easy way out, and I bought a new one because mine were still the first generation echoes. And
so that was the excuse you used to blow more money with Amazon.
Well, plus, and it happened to have this problem right before Prime Day, so I used that second excuse because I was able to get it on sale.
Wow. Well, Terry, I hope we helped you out. Let us know, though, what the end result is. And, of course, I was just kidding. We're going to make sure to get you some of the goodies you asked for in the summer giveaway. Check it all out at intotomorrow.com.
During these difficult times, we understand how important it is to stay healthy and safe. With so many of us confined to our homes and not being able to work, we feel the financial burden more than ever. Many folks lost their jobs and businesses. Others were furloughed, and some are working from home at reduced pay. Keeping up with your bills is not easy under these circumstances. If you have credit card debt and cannot keep up with your monthly payments, we at Debt Fix Pros are here to help. Give us a call to see how we can reduce your interest rates and lower your monthly payments. Protect your credit and let us help you find a solution that fits your needs. We, your friends at Debt Fix Pros, are here to help. Let us take care of your credit card debt so you can focus on what is really important. Call for a free phone consultation at 1-800-539-9460. That's 1-800-539-9460. 1-800-539-9460. United we stand. 1-800-539-9460.
You're tuned to your weekly Gas X for Tech. Into Tomorrow. I'm Dave Graveline.
I'm Chris Graveline. This portion of Into Tomorrow is brought to you in part by Blueberry Podcasting. If you want to become a podcaster, you'll soon discover the options can be a bit overwhelming. Blueberry makes it easy. Visit BLUBRRY.com.
The cool Into Tomorrow Hot Summer Giveaway
is still underway, but only for a couple of weeks, so you better hurry. Call in, participate on the show, ask a question, help another listener, share some tech rage, whatever. Just get on the air so you can win fabulous prizes. And while no promises or guarantees, we do ask you to mention 2 or 3 or 4 items that are available. And we'll do our best to get one or more of those to you. For example, from Viper, we've got the color OLED 2-way security and remote start system worth $600 for you.
From Roborock, we've got an S6 Max V robotic vacuum True Vision Smarter Action, valued at $700. LFO has provided eClip baby car seat alarms, peace of mind to busy parents, and help save your child. They also sent some of their eTherm infrared ear and forehead thermometers.
The whole list of all the cool items available is, of course, available to you at intotomorrow.com. Look for the post for summer giveaway. We've also got from Cooking Pal their Multo Smart Kitchen Appliance. Preps, cooks, and cleans after every meal, and that's worth $1,000.
From Tivic Health, we've got a few left of their Clear Up microcurrent devices to relieve congestion from colds, flus, and allergies with carrying cases. Scosche sent a box full of stuff, including their Power Up 600 car jumper, power bank, and flashlight. They sent a Boom Bottle waterproof wireless speaker with built-in Magic Mount and Magic Mount dual-purpose magnetic phone mount and air freshener.
It was all a mouthful for sure. When we opened the box from Audio Technica, they sent Quiet Point wireless active noise-canceling in-ear headphones worth $200 a piece.
From Catalyst, we've got cases for your iPhone 12, AirPods, and various Apple Watch models. And from Razer, the Black Widow Light silent mechanical keyboard to up your productivity, and a Kaio webcam, perfect work-from-home webcam with built-in adjustable ring light.
And we want you to be safe and never be trapped in an accident. Cut and Go sent a whole bunch of the Into Tomorrow branded emergency seatbelt cutters and window breakers. So you might ask for one of those. We'll get you that and something else.
Participate by calling 800-899-INTO. That's 800-899-4686. Using the free Into Tomorrow app or the Ask Dave button on our site at intotomorrow.com.